everybody, in today's video we're going to talk about things that you think save you money, but actually science, research and lots of evidence say that they don't. So let's get to it. The first thing on the list is mental accounts. This is something that is very widely used by many people who budget, and I know that I use them too, and actually they can work. I call them pompoms, peace of mind times 2. Essentially, these are short-term savings accounts. So if you are saving for things like Christmas or holidays, chances are you're going to hold this money, sometimes mentally and sometimes physically, in different accounts. Okay, so now you can tell me, okay, Marta, you just said that these things work, so what's the problem? Well, the problem is we have a clear hierarchy when it comes to using these accounts, and we get really emotionally attached to the state of those accounts. This leads to what behavioral economists call narrow framing, and this is how it works. Let's say you have an outstanding debt of £3,000 or dollars with an APR of more or less 20%, and you have savings of £10,000 or $10,000 with an interest of 4% that make you 4% interest on top of those savings. So your debt will cost you £600 or $600 every single year, whereas your savings will generate you £400 or $400. So the difference between the two is £200, and that £200 is what you're out of pocket. And that is exactly because you keep this money in 2 separate mental accounts. Another example, let's say you love investing and you set up a mental account for every single share you own. Now, something that you don't realize is that when you want to close those positions, because they're in separate accounts, you want to close each of them with a gain. Let's say that you need this money for a kitchen renovation. Because of those separate mental accounts, you are far more likely to sell the winners, not the losers. And that is all because of that desire to close each account with a gain. So when you are narrow framing, what you're doing is you don't see the context of your whole portfolio, or you don't see your money as a one big stash, because you keep these things in separate mental accounts. This is something that Daniel Kahneman researched and described in Thinking Fast and Slow. By the way, it's not my personal opinion. Let's talk about something much more tangible and something that I've been really a victim of, and I'm pretty sure you have too. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious if you actually have done it too. Searching for flights and trying to save money that way in an incognito mode. I'm laughing because I mispronounced it so many times that I had to edit it out so many times. And clearing your cookies. Here's Scott Keyes. He's the guy who wrote a book about taking more vacations, but before that he'd been famous for helping people find the cheapest flights. Well, apparently people yelled at Scott when he told them that clearing cookies and searching for flights in an incognito mode really don't make any difference. But he tested it. Scott searched for a flight from Denver to London from 6th of October through 13th. And the fare he got the first time was $442. He didn't clear his cookies, he didn't look in incognito mode. What he did, he just looked for it again. The fare he got, $442. And then what he did again is he actually searched for the same flight 100 times more. And hey ho, the result was $442 for the round trip. And this is the moment when you say, but I looked for flights and actually got different results. And it's very, very possible. But simply because airfare is not static, it's extremely volatile. Because of 3 reasons. First, it's a rival good. What it means is if you book a seat, nobody else can. The second thing is spoilage. So when the airlines close the door, they cannot make money on the seats that were not filled. So basically there is an expiration date. And the third thing is unpredictability. So basically if and when people are actually going to buy those flights. So what the airlines do, they constantly adjust the prices based on guesswork. They're trying to predict how many people are going to actually book, let's say, a flight to New York in 3 months' time for $300. If it's not enough, they need to lower the price. That's how it works. So this is not because they're watching you, and when you are taking your sweet time deciding whether to press that button and purchase that flight or not, they decide to jack up the price. There you go. So now you know that clearing cookies and using incognito mode are not going to make any difference whatsoever to the price of your flights. So stop wasting your time on these. They don't save you money. Okay, let's very quickly mention energy here. It's a very hotly debated subject, leaving things on for some time and switching them off or not, what works, what doesn't work. So let's clear it once and for all. Keeping things on does not save you money. It's not financially smart. And let's be clear here. We're talking about electrical heaters, we're talking about central heating, we're talking about water tanks and heaters, and all electrical devices. Believe it or not, there are energy experts and they test these things. And they tested things like leaving the lights on when leaving the room, or leaving the heating on when you leave the house, and also leaving electrical items like laptops, TVs, and gaming consoles in standby modes. Now, savings of these are so ridiculously low that it's actually pointless to even mention. So the conclusion here is this: leaving things on does not save you money. So if you leave the room, switch the lights off. If you leave the house, switch the heating off, and so on. Black Friday deals. Now, if you live in the UK, you probably know what Which is. If you don't live in the UK, Which is a company that is helping consumers make informed choices, and it's very, very famous for testing products. So back in 2021, Which conducted a research, and they tested 7 major retailers, places like John Lewis, Argos, and Amazon, among others, and they checked their prices, and the conclusion was that 98% of the prices of the Black Friday deals were actually cheaper on other days of the year, or the same price as their Black Friday deal. Now, you might say that things with time do get cheaper, so where's the surprise? But they also confirmed that 86% of those products were actually cheaper or the same price as the Black Friday deal price in the 6 months before Black Friday. And finally, none of the products they tested, zero, null, complete, round, nothing, were the lowest price on Black Friday sales. They really don't work. They can help you with saving money in one way. You will be really pissed off if a retailer fools you, and you will probably decide never to trust them again. But other than that, they really do not save you money, and they do not work. So as you know, maybe some of you know, I coach people about money, and every time we are about to start working together, we have a short, what I call like an intro call, okay? And this is not to check if we both like the same type of meals or investments. It's basically to see that we both have one understanding. And the understanding is it's not about information exchange. Don't get me wrong, information is extremely valuable. I do realize that financial education is extremely, extremely important. But it's not all. By the way, if you're interested in money coaching, you can find all the information about my programs and what I offer on my website. This is Dr. Brad Klontz. He is a psychologist specializing in money issues. And for Dr. Klontz, can we just call him Brad? Okay, let's call him Brad. So to Brad, personal finance issues are very, very simple. There's only 2 of them. One is spending less than you earn, and another one is saving for the future. And because these problems are so simple, many people feel ashamed when they cannot take control of them. And again, for many people, there's this big misconception about getting good with money. If only I had enough information, I would get better with money. But getting fit with money is very similar to getting fit with your body. You know that overeating is bad for you. You know that processed foods are disastrous. You know that exercise is the way to go. Finding the right diet, finding the right exercising program for you, more or less, right? It will take you what, 5-10 minutes? Let's say half an hour. Is that going to make you fit? According to Brad, and when I say Brad, it's backed up by research, only 20% of us will actually do it and actually follow up on this information. This is simply because we're in action phase only for 20% of our time. Psychologists call it a round change. So let's say that I tell you in this video what to do and you actually do it. That's being a round change. And that's the minority of us, that's the minority of people. So what's far more important is to know the psychology of money. So your underlying issues around the relationship with money. And this is something that many people really don't want to do. But think about it. It's very, very easy for you to find a good savings account. But do you know your money scripts? Do you know what have been passed in your family from one generation to another and possibly holds you back? Because believe it or not, research has shown that your beliefs around money are a very, very strong predictor of whether you're going to become wealthy or stay in a struggle with money. So knowing about personal finance and knowing about financial products will not exactly help and save money the vast majority of us. Alright guys, this is it for this video. It's a wrap. I hope you found it useful. I hope you are more aware of things that maybe you thought save you money, but don't necessarily do. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but I actually have plans now. So thanks to all of you who voted for the best plans. Some more are in post.